So before you go ahead and try to take control by cutting up your own map using hints, let's just get a simple map to just further the point. Just create a good block of a room, just any decent sized room. We're just going to make a quick example here. Get a little bit of height. We'll actually make it a pretty tall room. And we'll texture here of our dev textures. Okay. And I'm going to break my own rule and just make it hollow. Okay. So here we are inside of our big room. Now, let's say, for example, this room would be a single leaf, right? We're inside. From any point in this room, you can see any other point in the room, so we don't want the engine to not draw anything that would be inside this room. The way it is right now, this room's actually going to be cut into 4 leaves. And the reason is this center axis. The BSP program cuts up leaves in different ways. The first, just given ways, are along this center axis and basically all the other brown lines you see here, which were 1024 by 1024 chunks. If we go in here with our block tool, you'll see those are 1024 by 1024. And the engine automatically has to cut along those lines. So in our room here that we think can be just a single leaf, the thing to do would be to simply move that leaf, or that room, in a place where it doesn't need to be cut, or it's going to be cut along the outside. So now it fits all in one leaf. We have a one leaf room. Now let's say, for example, that we were inside our room and we just wanted to create a wall right down the middle of it. It's kind of a channel. There you go. You had a channel. You can walk around that side. Either you want that wall to go all the way to the ceiling or not. You want it to go just midway up the ceiling. Alright, let's create that. Let's change our texture to make it easier to see. Okay, so from within this room, here I am, standing against my wall. Now, I can obviously see down the line, I can see up. If I walk over, as soon as I get around here, I can see over here. Now, if I were to draw a straight line across on this grid line, the earliest position that I could see this point is here. I start losing it. But the end of that line, which would be a leaf, is here. So the engine would calculate that point as far as my leaf. The engine might cut up our leaves so that we actually are drawing the other side of this wall, even though there's no way, if we're standing over here, that we'd see it. The leaf would simply go in a box all the way to the ceiling and over and down and back. It would be a cube in this area here. Floor to ceiling, floor to ceiling, floor to ceiling. So we have a few really neat viz leaves, but the problem is that this viz leaf, under that scope, the ceiling of that viz leaf could see the ceiling of this viz leaf. So anywhere in here could see anywhere in here because there's nothing blocking the top visibility. But we know that our player height is only this high and there's no way that they're ever going to see over there. So we could create a forced leaf that cuts this down the top so that this area, we now cut our cube to be down here. There's no way that that's going to see to this side of the map. From up here, you could see, but for the time being, a player will never be up there. So it really is a moot point. We don't want anything rendered on the right side here while the player is on the left side. So we can adjust the way the system sets those leaves up by using what's called a hint. A hint is a piece of brush geometry. Okay, so let's cut this leaf where we know we need it to be so that we won't draw what's on the other side there. Go to our brush entity. We'll create an object, the whole room. We'll only make that 1 unit tall since we don't need any real volume. We just want to apply this texture to a single surface of our shape here. Only need to apply our hint texture to one side. And we'll cut it along that line. Now in this case, we probably actually want to attach it to the bottom side, since that's going to be what's really sealing onto the shape that it's in question. So this is the guy that we will apply our hint to. That's all there is to it. We applied a hint. We're now going to cut along this area. You can make that invisible if you'd like, or add the hint texture to it as well so that you can see through it. Also a good idea to place all your hints within a viz group so you can easily turn them on or off. Just be sure that you turn them on before you do render your map, before you compile your map. Okay, so that would solve the problem of disallowing visibility from this area of our map to the other side of our map. And you can see in our four rooms map how immensely more complex that's going to be. But you should investigate coming through and limiting visibility. So since we created funk detail brushes out of these guys because of their odd shape and how they were cutting up our room, maybe we can simplify the shapes. We can say, you know what, from here, although we also put these holes in them, from here you're never going to see into that stairwell. And you could create a brush that does that. But it's up to you to experiment, to improve performance, see what improves performance most for you using your matte wireframe and your show budget tools, and optimize away. You can also take a really quick look at some additional forms of optimization, including area portals and occluders. These are typically, especially area portals, used for larger maps and are pretty complex, but you'll want to look into both occluders and area portals as you get more advanced optimizing your levels.